Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. So I want to make a follow-up video on the Sons of the Forest situation on PS5. I've even took a couple of notes. Get me, proper YouTuber. Um, so the thing that I've got written down is the Forest, the full release released on PC on April 2018, and it released on PlayStation the same year, November 2018. Now on PlayStation, it sold 5 million copies in 2 months. By December of 2018, it sold 5 million copies. We're now in 2025, so that number's pretty much probably doubled by now because we don't have a lot of survival games. To give you a quick list of what we actually have from PS4 to PS5, survival games, we have The Forest, Stranded Deep, Grounded, Dismantle, The Long Dark, and Green Hell. There are other games like 7 Days to Die and all that, but that's not really survival, if you get what I mean. This was the cream of the crop. I used to stream this years ago on Twitch, and I made so many good friends on this game. But then, as time has moved on, you know, people are just not playing the Forest anymore. People were waiting for Sons of the Forest. So the issue that I have got is, as I've said, number one, you've sold over 5 million copies, but now I'll move to Sons of the Forest. On PC, Sons of the Forest, according to somebody I spoke to from endnight on Discord, has sold nearly 14 million copies, and you've made close to $300 million in revenue. The issue that I take with that is the fact that some of that revenue to make Sons of the Forest came from PlayStation when you sold all your copies. And I don't understand why you haven't ported it, because the PlayStation 5 base, right, is equivalent to a 7700 XT or an RTX 3070 Ti. That's the base PS5. There is a PS5 Pro, which is what I'm currently playing on, and that's equivalent to an AMD RX 7700 or an RTX 4070 Ti. We've got 16 gig of DDR4 memory, and we can run things like Cyberpunk and Cronos New Dawn, Resident Evil 4 Remake. We've got Resident Evil Requiem coming. We've also got Ready or Not. We've got so many games that we can run in 4K with ray tracing. So I don't understand how you can't port Sons of the Forest. We have got GTA 6 coming next year. We've got Ark Raiders coming, Fallen 2 coming, Lords of the Fallen 2 coming, sorry. We've also got survival games like Grounded 2 coming from Xbox next year. We have also got Deep Stranded 2 coming next year. I do not understand, with the revenue that you have made, why you cannot port to PlayStation 5 like you did with the original. Now, I do understand why you wouldn't want to put it on Xbox, because it's going to go straight to Game Pass and you're not going to make the revenue. But on PlayStation, as you did with the original, we buy our games and you will make the money back, because we don't have Game Pass, right? So we buy games in full, which funds your company. As a business, endnight, customer sales, we are your priority. Without customer sales, you do not have a company. And a big part of why The Forest, this game, was so successful to begin with is because of all the YouTubers and Twitch streamers when we were playing the game, which is free marketing. Now, if you have no intention or an intention of releasing the game, you should really by now be releasing a statement to everyone and saying you either have the intention of putting on PlayStation in time or not. Don't leave people on a fishhook at night. That's really not fair. And as I said, the problem that I have is the fact that I made so many friends on this game when it first came out. The caves, the building was the big thing. It was and still is the best thing you can ever play if you're looking for something to do with your friends and chill, with your buddies, have a few beers and just have fun. And I'm just really disappointed in Endnight. I really am, really, really am. To make $300 million on Sons of the Forest, and then not to even speak to people on PlayStation who are going to be expecting a console release. That's really, really bad of you, Endnight. As I've said, the PS5 standard has got equivalent to a 3070 Ti, and the PS5 Pro has got equivalent to a 4070 Ti. So there isn't any way on this planet you can't port to PlayStation. Are you trying to say Cyberpunk can run in 4K 60, but your game can't? You know, PlayStation's got ray tracing, it's got everything. And I understand that there is a licensing aspect, the cost of putting it on PlayStation, as well as the cost of recoding the game for console. But the overall sales figures they'd supersede that by a long shot, and you already know that, or you wouldn't have ported the first game. So I do wish there was more news that I had for you guys. I really, really do. I've every single day looked on the internet, Discord, Reddit, Twitter. As I've said, I have spoke to somebody from Endnight who doesn't want to be named. And what I was told is the only thing that Endnight were looking at was a VR port for PC. There was nothing for console. And that's absolutely heartbreaking. As I said, I'm giving up on the Forest now on hopes of Sons of the Forest coming to PlayStation 5. We're actually only a couple of years away from PS6. So basically, Endnight have skipped an entire generation of console. I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes open, guys, and just see what's what. I do know, as I've said, we've got Grounded 2 next year, which will be fantastic. And we've also got Deep Stranded 2, which I've got my eye on as well. But other than that, guys, yeah, it's a crying shame because this was and is the best survival game I've ever played on PlayStation. And, you know, that's sort of the big issue is on PlayStation, we don't have the options that they do on Steam, where there's a million survival games. On PlayStation, it's sort of get what you're given. And that's why this game sold so well, because it really is. It's fantastic. And booting this up on PS5 Pro, once you put the backwards capability on to boost the PS4 games, it looks awesome. It really does look an awesome game. It looks old, but it still looks awesome. So I don't know what else to say, guys. I wish I had better news. If I do hear anything else, I will make a follow-up video. But as I've said, from talking to somebody, yeah, it's not looking promising at this point in time. So all we can do is hope Endnight Games have a change of mind and that we get something from this. That's it. Till the next video, guys. You take care of yourselves. Look after each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.